Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the Vault. Trust Christian own, nothing control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in the replay. This is the Vault, episode 650. Doing quite a bit of episodes. We got a bunch of high enrollment right now in trustee training and wrapping up a few positions here before we move into the second quarter. So, with quite a few trustees enrolled, and we want to just cover some of the things that some people have inquired about, and then as well the trustees that are enrolling. We're making this for you. So, new trustees, continuous training is needed. You say, "Oh, really, Trust Christian? I came on the line. We did an interview with you, and Trust Christian identified that your speech is not correct. Trust Christian identified for new trustees their speech, the way they speak of things, the trusteeship situation that they're engaged in. They still need training." And we help them with that. Trustee comes on the line and says, "I need to talk to someone because I don't have anyone to talk to. The people that I'm around, they don't know this information." So, ladies and gentlemen, the training is the relationship. You're learning how to build the relationships in the private sector. That takes an investment. Ladies and gentlemen, the private sector has a barrier to entry. The public sector does not. You can get free everything in the public. In the private sector, there's a level of equity that's involved. A lot of people may not be aware of what that is, but there's a equity that's more transparent. So when we have trustees that say, "Hey, this, that, and the third," well, let's talk about what you're saying. "Hey, I want to deal in equity." How many of you all are doing transactions in gold? How many of you all are doing transactions in silver? How many of you are doing transactions in hard tangible assets, not a credit card, not what else do people offer? Promissory notes. They're trying to offer paper instruments. You can't feed yourself with a credit. You can't feed yourself with a promissory note. People know that. They're trying to mix the fiction of the public to the private. It doesn't work that way. Can I give you a promissory note? Can I give you a public instrument? Well, in the private, where is the par value? Where is the true exchange of value in a debt instrument or a paper instrument? It's like a degree. How's that going to buy you a cup of coffee at Starbucks? So for a new trustee, continuous training is needed. So it's the reason why it's even written the way it is for trustee. Well, think about it. We have multiple trustees that are in one trust as a family. Are you? So some families have multiple trustees. But what happens when one comes and one goes? You get the training for the trust. See, a lot of people, they come into trustee training and they ask, "Hey, I need a system in place." You're here to develop a system so you can have something work when you're not around. That's what it is. It's a system. The continuous training puts people in position to know how to build a system, know the importance of a system. We provide all of that information. We provide the training for that. It's private. You say you want to be private, you got to invest in your private education. Once you invest in your private education, you understand it is continuous. We have trustees all the time ask us, "How long is this process going to be? How long is it going to take for you to learn trusteeship?" Well, I don't know how long it's going to take, right? Because it's a never ending process. But one thing we can share with you, we have trustees that have gone to law school and actually have completed law school, and they serve and work with trustee training. If when you enroll in trustee training, you'll see that that trustee has actually helped out with foundation training. So we have trustees that have gone through and still continue their education on more formal levels and came right back and started helping out. That's what it's all about. The continuous training. There's a lot more on the private side than it is on the public side. So when people looking into trusteeship with the vault, just know that the vault has trusteeship behind the public vault that we see here. We work with families, we work with individuals, we have workshops privately. And the continuous training goes towards those people in that area, the end of that particular situation. Why is it continuous? How long, Trust Christian? Give us an idea of your training schedule, Trust Christian Involved. Give us an idea of what your education, continuous education looks like. Okay, so in any 12-month calendar year, we go to at least three capital raising events. A lot of people, we don't like calling them that, but that's what they're called for the most part because they could be high net worth investor events, but they're traditionally called capital raising high net worth investor events. Three of those will cost you over 2 grand. You got flights, food, meal, travel, time away from business. That's gonna cost. Uh, continuing education or continuous training. Interestingly enough, we would say on a weekly basis, you're studying. A lot of trustees come on, oh, trust Christian involved. I'm studying, man. I've been studying. I study all day, all night. Okay. Uh, we would say anywhere in the week, minimum 9 hours. Just you know, maybe doing some reading for an hour one day, uh, and then a few additional days, maybe picking up extra 10, 15 minutes, just enjoying something that you know is going to help your family out. Sometimes you're doing sporadic reading, so an hour could be over a period of a time throughout the day, but you're looking at about 9 hours, or at least seven, just an hour a day. You'll be surprised how far that goes. That's listening to some level of trusteeship. A lot of trustees will say, oh, I listen to the podcast. After you've enrolled in trustee training, the values in the lessons that are behind in the private training, and then the lessons that you have with Trust Christian in the Vault and the resources. We got trustees, they've been in trustee training for multiple years. And some trustees say, hey, I fell off and I got to come back. Okay, you're still new then. Did you learn it? Did you execute it? Trustees will say, oh, it took me how long to open up bank account for the family estate? Uh, they'll say, how long did it take for them to transfer a property? How long did it take for that to happen? How long did it take for you to transfer the original business into the family estate? That's why it's continuous education. And we have a training program. Why? Because it has to be. It has to be an accountability program. It has to be a performance measure. It has to help. The trustee has to be able to measure what they're working on. For sure. How? It's no other way around it. Continuous training is needed in speech and practice, relationships. That's what we're talking about here. Quite a few people may ask the question, what does that mean for a new trustee? Continuous training is needed. Well, the training that's needed is the association. And a lot of the times, trustees will come on the line and they need a lot of strategy. So, Trust Christian Involved, we have that experience. We work with them on their strategy a lot of times. They say, okay, I have this structure, but I don't know how to implement a quality strategy. A lot of times they may think that they have a strategy. We'll come through. We are able to diagnose holes in the strategy. We allow them to get rigor in their process. That's a big deal in trusteeship. It's having vigor in your process. And so quite a few trustees appreciate that level of, and even a lot of trustees, some people may say, oh, Trust Christian Involved, how come you don't never pull out Why don't you pull out a lot of trustees and put them on the public platform? Well, remember, our trustees are in private trusteeship. So to just have them come out in the public, sure, they're private, but one of the things that they asked for, and that's why they appreciate it. And a lot of trustees that have reached out throughout the years and got started say, we always appreciated how you've always kept it private, how you didn't do certain things that would make it look a little public. We talked to someone earlier today as a trustee, and they said, well, uh, one thing we like about you is that you practice trusteeship. Right. Because we're not out looking to do certain things in the public that would make it public. We can have a conversation privately and we can have this conversation here. But people understand that there's things that are going to be discussed in the private that aren't ever going to really be discussed on the public platform. People appreciate how we've done our best to do that the entire time. For a new trustee, continuous training is needed. Where are you supposed to go to get this training? You go to private families, private people. It's not going to come from the public. And traditionally, the public's going to educate people on more public programming. So a lot of the information is going to come from private trustees working with private people. Think about, how do you know when someone's competent at what they do? You all know trust Christian, own nothing, control everything. That's how you know. It makes sense. Trust Christian, own nothing, control everything. How many trustees are fully in that position? Oh, trust Christian involved, are you? Of course. We know that that's the most superior position, and there's no other advantageous position other than trust Christian, own nothing, control everything. Of course. So how soon are you going to be able to implement the strategy, the focus, and get things done? And that's what we're here to help you do. And so a lot of trustees say, oh, we want to get started fast. Well, you want to get started fast? We're looking forward to working with the first batch of trustees this year. We have quite a few. We actually can almost say our first workshop is probably going to be in Carolina. We could go ahead and shoot that out there, but we're going to make sure that we have some confirmations on that. But we have quite a few trustees that are in the Carolina area, and they reached out, and we just know that that's been a hot spot for a long time, and doing one there would be incredible. So we look forward to working with you all. Look forward to working with the next group of trustees. Christian at trustchristian.com. Looking forward to hearing from you. It's just been exciting to see some of the trustees come through right now and hear them express what their needs are, and we're able to help them. So it's going to be a great time right now. Looking forward to hearing from you all. Christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, that's Christian at trustchristian.com. Peace and joy.